Bonsai Dream. Bonsai Dream.
Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm here with this beautiful Scots pipe, and I want to talk a little bit about the aftercare, long-term aftercare on trees like these. Bonsai is not only about transformation. You can see on my channel I do a lot of videos about shaping, and transforming material into what will be hopefully a beautiful bonsai. But today I want to take a couple of trees that we have been working in previous videos of the channel. Actually, this Scots was worked about a year ago. We work on the tree, and then after some months we repotted this tree in this beautiful Felix rock, and now is the end of the season, is end of October, and is the perfect time to do a little bit of cleaning, a little bit of checking on the wire, protecting eventually some deadwood with lime sulfur, going through winter, and eventually also see if we need to select buds for next spring, and clean some part or prune part of the trees. This is a process that we have to go through in a daily base, or actually in a yearly base, on our trees, because as I said, bonsai is not only about transformation, but taking care of the tree years after years, get us to the beautiful final result to say, okay, I have a beautiful bonsai and I'm happy with it. So we need always to put some work and maintain the tree and give step by step, year after year, more points for the tree to shine and be a beautiful bonsai. When we style the tree for the first time, we clean all that branch that actually was already from the collection of the tree. This is a Scots pine from Sweden, typical twisty movements of Scots from Sweden. That branch had still a lot of the bark, so we remove the bark because we want to expose the deadwood, and also we don't want to risk that the deadwood under the bark, because the bark still will protect it in a certain way, but don't allow the deadwood to breathe, will start rotting it. So we clean everything, and I don't like to put lime sulfur on deadwood straight away, so I let it mature all these seasons. So with sun and water, the wood can age a little bit. And now Christian is taking care of giving for the first time the lime sulfur to the deadwood. This is a very important operation, especially for gin like these that are pretty delicate. We want to protect them and get into the schedule of lime sulfuring that I normally do a couple of times a year to protect all over my tree. Actually, today is the typical autumn rainy day. Bring the tree inside, the tree is super wet, the wood like a sponge open up the fiber because get wet, and it's perfect to apply lime sulfur, so the lime sulfur get inside the wood and protect the wood from inside. We don't want to give lime sulfur to the deadwood when it's dry, because we risk that we just paint the outer part on the deadwood and we don't protect the wood from inside. So we start everything with that protection, and then we will start working and cleaning the foliage. Using a simple chopstick, we start removing the yellow old needle. Pines in general, when they get sufficiently old, they already shaded down some of the old needle. So we can just use our fingers and a chopstick to remove them. And then in the meantime, we can also use a little tweezer, moving all needle, and where is necessary, we can also clean away some little needle that are still insisting into the pad. In this period of the year, we always perform the cleaning of the needle. Obviously, as you can see, we remove first of all the yellow needle. So the tree basically shade down some of the old needle, normally the needle from 3 and 4 years before that are still present, still insisting on the pads. So we use a chopstick or we can use our finger or a tweezer to remove them. So we always start from the top of the tree and we go down. So differently from when we wire, that we normally wire from the lower branches up. When we do this type of cleaning, we start from the top and we clean everything down to the bottom. The other operation that we can do in this period is a little bit of cleaning the green needle. So there are some shoots, for example, that tend to be dominant. So we can remove eventually some more needle. So we bring down the energy of those shoots. We also show some of the inner part of the foliage. So this is the preparation for spring pinching the candle. So this operation, cleaning all needle, green all needle from dominant part, together in spring with pinching aggressively the candle, give a message to the tree to develop back budding. So if we want to make pads more compact, we can put together these two operations, autumn and then spring, and then slowly our pads get denser and denser, and we don't get more outer foliage, rather we keep working, creating more ramification closer to the trunk. That is what we want, actually. The other way is just using a scissor, very sharp, cut the needle, leave the cuticola, and then the cuticola will just dry out in a few weeks and fell. Normally, I pinch with hands or tweezers in Scots, but in other type of pine, like Mugo, Austrian black, I use scissors. The other important operation that we can do in this time while we look on our tree is also bud selection. We know on pines we can have multiple buds, single, double, triple buds. What we want is to bring down eventually, especially on the strong area, apical area of the tree. Eventually, if we have 3 buds, we want to remove the central one and keep the 2 side one. This is always because we want to obtain 2 candles, and then obviously every time we improve the orders of ramification, we want to always bifurcate in 2. 2, 2, 2, 2. This is very important to make the tree maturing. Then obviously, again, this can be done now. You can even, if you don't want to do it now because it's too difficult to identify the candles sometime, you can also do in spring. So when the tree starts developing the candles, you get 3 candles, you remove the central one, develop the 2 side one, and according to the strength, you pinch them half or 2/3, according to the area, according also to the type of work you want to do. Now that the cleaning part of the work is finished, we can also start checking on the old wire. So the old wire is the first one that after the first styling has to start coming off. So now, as I said, this being a year, we can start removing some area, starting from the junctions. And we can start removing some spiral of the wire. This process of wiring, obviously, we have to do it every year until basically we only have finer wire into the final branches. Also, some guy wire can come off. If we feel it that is loose, we can remove it. So there is a guy wire that was pushing back the top of the tree. And then also in the top part we have some thick wire that we can eventually remove. We have always to observe part of some branches that eventually on the first styling we have been bending. Those are the parts that tend to thick up faster, and there eventually the wire has to be removed. Eventually also, as we did, remove some old guy wire that is not necessary anymore. All those parts that have done most of the stronger manipulation, generally after a year they can be removed, so we can free the branches. Then the branches can still keeping thick up and hold the foliage in position. We remove the old thick wire that did the first bend of this section, but the branch came down a little bit, so we will substitute. Perfetto. We're going to substitute it with this finer one and just single, just to repop the branch up, and eventually still 1 year, and that eventually we can remove it. Now that the maintenance work is basically finished, we can do a little bit of resetting, realigning on the pad. It's not necessary now. The tree is not going to go for a show, but while we have it in the workshop, we take the time, clean a little bit the lower lines of the pad, reset a little bit the nice shape, and then the tree can go back in the shells, and I will see it next late spring with the candle pinching operation. with the help of my student Christian, we just finished the work, a little bit of a cleaning, removing some of the strong part, removing some wire, cleaning the old needles, just to reset nicely the shape of the tree. Really quick work that make a lot of difference because help the tree to stay in a path on the way to become a beautiful bonsai. And as I said, next year I will control the candle, keep developing in some area a little bit more ramification to fill in, maturing a little bit more the pads, and probably in a couple of years this tree will be good for a show. So for this work is everything. Now I want to show you another tree, a juniper. So for the second part of this beautiful video, we're gonna do the same maintenance work but on a juniper and see some little differences.